Welcome to the Abundance Hack Show, where we are inspiring you to tap into your power to manifest the happiness, success, and fulfillment that you desire. I am your host, Niajae, the Upper Limit Coach. I am here to dismantle your limiting beliefs and remove the blocks so you can confidently live your life's purpose, because life is meant to be abundant. Hey M&Ms, thank you for tuning into the Abundance Hack Podcast. I am super excited about today's episode. We have the amazing Daniel Woods, who is the creator of the Rain Shoot photo shoots. And oh my goodness, if you guys know me, you know that I love art, and this is like the epitome of art. So before we get into his story, Daniel, I want to ask you, what does abundance mean to you?
Well, abundance to me means confidence, and it makes your way of being different because you're not worried about, am I going to be taken care of? So if you have the abundance mentality, you see people as people rather than objects to get what you need. So it really changes. An abundance mindset can really change your interaction with people and how you go about your life because you have confidence.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Okay, so I'm so excited that you're here. I am excited about everything that you are doing, but tell the audience about yourself. I let people introduce themselves just so they can rave, because I could rave about you all day, but I want you to rave about yourself and tell people what it is that you do.
Okay, so the way I introduce myself is I say, hey, I'm Daniel Woods. I'm creative and I love people. So that's kind of about me, is I love being creative. I think there's just something innate in all of us that wants to create, whether we doodle or whether we sing or whether we cook, just something about humans that we want to create. And that really is just who I am. And I love people. I love meeting people. I served a full-time mission for my church for 2 years in the France-Paris mission. And I just loved just going up to people and just finding out who they were and what made them tick. And I just love people. And as a photographer, I get to meet all kinds of people. So it's really fun. I have a wife and 2 little boys. I call them my little buckarooskies. We have Buckaroo number 1 and Buckaroo number 2, and it's Caleb and Elijah. There's probably a picture up on the screen right now of those little guys. They're 7 and 4, and I taught them to swim, and it's summertime now, so we're swimming a lot, and it's been fun. Just a quick little episode, just little boys are nuts. And my little 4-year-old thought it would be a good idea to jump off our wall in our backyard. It's like 8 feet high onto the trampoline. And they do it all the time, but someone had moved the trampoline like really far from the edge. This little guy, his little 10-year-old friend jumps off and makes it, of course. And he goes for it like the Gonzo Gap jump. And he lands and hits his midsection right on the bar. Cracked his liver. He was in the hospital for 3 days. So
oh my God.
Can't do anything, but the doctor said I could take him swimming as long as I keep people away from him so they don't kick him. But so anyway, it's always an adventure. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Oh my goodness. Kids are fearless. They are fearless.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I want to actually expand your view. If you guys are listening on iTunes or Spotify, you definitely want to tune into the video because you can see some of the beautiful images that he created behind him. So I really want to dive into the rain shoots. How did it come about? And when you first came up with this idea and you told the first person, did they think you were crazy?
No, they didn't really think I was crazy because I was able to find something online that looked like what I wanted to do. And I didn't represent it as my work, of course, but I said, this is what I'm doing. And they're like, whoa, I want to do that. And so it's funny because the rain shoot was like a transition for me. So I was literally at the end of my rope. I had some, we can get into my story a little bit later. So this will make sense when you hear the background, but we were kind of like out of money. And I had this idea, this kind of last ditch effort to do something different that I thought could hopefully generate some revenue for my family. And I had this idea to do the rain shoot, and I convinced a yoga studio to let me run water on the second floor of their building inside in Las Vegas in exchange for doing headshots of other people. And so we kind of like rigged this thing up and made it rain on the second floor. And we shot 50 people. And we made like $20,000. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're gonna like survive. It was like amazing. And so it just kind of took off and people loved it. I love shooting it. It's like magic, serious. It's like magic. You add water, you add magic. And that's kind of how it got started. Then I kind of took it on tour to Southern California. And then it just kind of grew online. People just see it and they're like, whoa, that's epic. You know, I use that word a lot. You'll notice I'm saying epic all the time because I'm all about epic. I should have said my name's Daniel Woods. I'm creative. I love people and everything epic.
I love it. You should totally add that. You should totally add it. So I love that no one thought like, dude, that's crazy. Because I feel like a lot of the creative ideas that I've had, people are like, you're crazy. But maybe it's because I'm around people that are not as artsy or creative as I am, maybe. I don't know. Not to say anything bad about the people that I'm around, but maybe you get in Nevada, like Vegas, obviously, there's so many artistic people there. So they probably was like...
I'm in Phoenix now. But this was when I was in Vegas.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, let's dive into your story. You said that you had kind of almost a breaking point. Like you were just like, okay, I got to make this work because I have to support my family. Do you want to expand on that? Because I know that's something that a lot of people go through, but they tend to resort to something safe rather than trying a new idea.
Oh yeah, totally. So being like, in some ways, like being a photographer is totally entrepreneurial, but in some ways it's kind of like owning a job. So it's not like something that necessarily scales. So anyway, but it's like a risk, like becoming a photographer, because it's not the easiest business to be in. And just to give you a little background, I come from an amazing family. I'm one of 7 kids. I'm the second oldest. There's 5 boys and 2 girls. The girls are the first and the last. And my dad is like one of the most amazing men like you could ever meet on this earth. Just like stellar, solid, like epic guy. But he's ultra conservative. Like he's a dentist, for Pete's sake, right? So he's super conservative. And so my whole life, like I wanted to like please my father and like be the good dude. And so I always like thought like doing stuff that was like outside the mainstream was wrong. So I kind of like internalized this morality that wasn't necessarily there, but that's kind of how I saw the world. And so I thought it was wrong to do certain things for a career. So I ended up doing something super safe that I hated, that was like sucking my soul. And after 2 years into doing this thing, I'm like, no, I have to like do something that I love. And at the time I just been married about like, I don't know, like 8 months. I'm still married, but it's like right at the beginning of my marriage. And I had this idea to like do photography. And I'm like, no, that is the stupidest idea ever. Like I'm never like, this is the dumbest idea. I need to be like laying the financial foundation here. Right. And so anyway, but I had this cool idea for a niche. So I was in San Diego at the time and I love the ocean. And so I'm like, I'm going to fuse my love of the ocean with photography and the mega tourism that's there. And we started this rad little business called Beach Shoot San Diego. And we take people in the ocean and photograph them surfing and kayaking. We do these fun little beach portraits right before. And then we'd have this rad little collection of beach portraiture and these epic, like commercial type advertising, like adventure images, not just like snapshots, but like legit, like something you'd see like on a Patagonia ad or whatever, you know? And so then we have this little studio space right by the beach. It was like a dream. I'm like, amazing. And then we'd take people right back up there, show them the images and like sell them this rad collection of images. And people were like geeked on it. And it started taking off. We had like 4 photographers working. I had 4 photographers working for me. And, but these kayak tour companies that were there, they didn't want me there. And because they're all regulated by the city. So they got together and collectively threatened to sue the city of San Diego with a court action. So a month after I became a dad, the city attorney sends me a nasty letter and says I have to shut down my business. And I've been working on growing this thing for like 3 years. And so I just lost my business and my livelihood, bam, just like that.
Oh
so
my God.
that was insane. Yeah. And so I thought, maybe I'm done. as a photographer. Like I'm finissimo, right? So then I had to do something. So I moved my family to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I went back to selling pest control door to door. That's what I did in college. Every summer in college, I would sell pest control door to door. It's
Oh my
crazy.
goodness.
Like I never made less than about $40,000 in a summer. So that way I could work in the summer, then I'd go to school because I was terrible at school. So I didn't want to have a job when I was going to school. So anyway, I went back to selling pest control, which I abhorred, but I was good at. And I hadn't done that for like 12 years. And then I transferred to Las Vegas to keep selling pest control. And I went on this little trip in Black Canyon. It's just below Hoover Dam. So there's the dam on the Colorado River. So one side's Lake Mead, other side's the river. And in that canyon, there's hot springs and waterfalls. It's, what is the word? It's epic. And no, I mean, it is. It's epic. And so I thought, you know what? I am on the verge of bankruptcy. Let's just reinvent myself. And if I go down, I'm going down a blaze of glory. So we started this other company in Las Vegas called Epic Adventures Photography, which you probably see some footage right now. We're probably popping the B-roll up there right now. Mm-hmm. And anyway, so that was okay. It got a little cash coming in, but it wasn't quite the same as San Diego because I could do a client in like a couple hours because the adventure is literally in the city. It's just like right at the ocean, right? Mm-hmm. Here we have to like, it's an all day event. We get up at what I call, me and my assistant called the booty crack of dawn at like 4 a.m. And then we wouldn't get back till like 7 p.m. It was insane. So it's just much more difficult and didn't quite work the same. So this brings me up to the point where like we had this gnarly hit to my whole livelihood. I went to Tulsa, I went to Vegas, I'm scratching and clawing, trying to survive, and we're out of money. And we have like 2 kids now, and I got to do something. So I had this idea to do the rain shoot, and then I somehow, I don't know, I must eke like trustworthiness because what property owner is going to let you run water on the 2nd story inside their building, right? So, but we pioneered a way. We like contain the water, but that's another thing about being a photographer. You've got to be an innovative MacGyver. There's a lot of MacGyvering, like problem solving with photography. It's like half of photography is like problem solving, right? So anyway, we figured that out. But now you can see like, wow, how this thing really changed my life. Like the rain shoot, like changed my life because it saved my life, but it's so creative and it's so beautiful and it's so fun to work with artists and I love it. It's amazing. So anyway, that kind of like takes the story full circle. So anyway, so since then, the rain shoot's been a huge part of what I do. And I also do a lot of personal branding for really high level online entrepreneurs. So I produce video and photo. Maybe we'll cut one of these fun little Facebook video ads I do in here. They're like 1 minute, so we probably should. There's some really funny ones. I'll let you know which one to put in there. Okay. And anyway, so yeah, so, you know, it's being resilient. I guess we're kind of talking to 2 audiences here. Like I'm talking to photographers, aspiring photographers, entrepreneurs in general, and also all the artists that hopefully will do the rain shoot with us. But to the photographers and the entrepreneurs, you got to be tough, man. You got to like keep going, you know? There are brighter days ahead. Like there's, if you hear this all the time, like there's peaks and valleys. And even after, you know, the rain shoot saved my bacon, like there's still been peaks and valleys, but like you just keep, you tally ho and you sally forth, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, you just keep on keeping on, right? And it works out, you know? So, but it's hard. Like you think you think all is lost. Like when you're in those dark hours, you're like, holy crap, like, why did I should have just got a corporate job, you know? But then you're like, no, I'm unemployable. Like I could never work for anybody. You know? Yeah. So but see, here's the thing. Like I have this maybe this is the interesting part. Back to like the psyche with which I started this journey of it's wrong to be a professional creative. Can you guys realize like how heavy that thought process is to like get rid of? Like what you're doing is wrong. Like I shouldn't be doing this. Like that's a huge obstacle to overcome. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad I did because like I'm just getting started in a way, you know, like I can't wait to see where I go. And I know there's this extraordinary life. I mean, I've had an extraordinary life because the journey is part of the life, but I have goals and I see ways for them to happen and they're happening. So I'm going to have this great picture that I would have never had if I hadn't, you know, if I would have just played it safe and stuck with what I thought I should do, right? Mm-hmm. That's the thing. That's the message is just evaluate what you think you should do. And is it other people like telling you that, or is it you telling yourself that? And in my case, maybe it was like a hybrid, but I'm glad that I decided to like listen to myself a little bit in the end, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
So powerful. Oh my goodness. I love, love, love it. So, just to reiterate what you said is so powerful. You started out with an initial thought that you can't make a living off of photography, and you had to work past that limiting belief, which is something I talk about a lot on the show.
It's a
And
little bit more though than I can't make a living. I shouldn't be doing it because it's irresponsible. I need to do something that will support a family. Not that I shouldn't do it because I don't know if I can make money. It's like it's wrong. It's like immoral because it's not what I should do. You see the difference?
yeah.
Just want to like yeah.
Yeah,
So.
and I'm sure that's something a lot of parents struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
And so what would you let's dive into that a little bit before I just like graze over it. What would you say shifted that thought in your mind? Like, what would you say to someone who has that same exact thought?
I would say know that if you're willing to go for it, there's always a way. There's always a way, and things will work out. And you just have to keep applying yourself. I see it all the time around me too. Like I sometimes like almost in a naysaying when I'm like I see someone trying to do something, I'm like, I don't think they're gonna make that. And then you lo and behold, you keep watching them on social media, and then like 3 years later, they're like they've arrived, and you're like, dang, yeah, awesome. That's why I've learned from my own experience, but also observing others. Like the people that like chip and go and do it, they get there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I don't know if that answered your question. What was the question?
No, it was good. It was good. And then the next part is you built this business. You spent 3 years building up this business that completely shut down. Like it seems like a blink of an eye. And most people would have given up, and you didn't give up. So one thing I want the audience to really know is every entrepreneur has some type of major challenge, and some people take that as, oh, well, it's not meant for me to do this. But I'm sure that that experience made you smarter, stronger, and wiser to come back even stronger than before, you know, and maybe more motivated, because now you're like, well, I really have to make it work now. And so
yeah, I got something to say about that, but keep going.
No, go ahead.
So there's this, oh shoot, what was my thought? I just forgot. It's, what were you saying right before that? I'm sorry.
So after your business shut down, you had to come back, and it probably made you come back smarter, stronger, wiser than before.
Right. Yeah. So it's like throwing your hat like over the fence. You just have to, oh, that's what I was going to say. Like you have to make it work. That's what you were saying. Something about that. Like, that's the thing. Like I see people that like want to kind of slow walk it. Like they want to keep one foot in here, one foot in security and one foot on the entrepreneur side. And that is almost a recipe for failure, because you're not all in and you're not forced to be resourceful. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't work all the time. And for some people's personality, they can do that. Maybe it's smarter. But at the same time, there's this idea that if you throw your hat over the fence, you're going to go get it. If you jump off the cliff, like you're cliff jumping into water, once you commit, like you can't like walk back up and jump back on the cliff. Maybe if you're like Wile E. Coyote or the Roadrunner, sometimes they walk out and then they're in there and they jump back or whatever. But like once you walk off the edge, like you're falling. So you got to like brace yourself, do what you need to do to survive. So I found myself in that situation, and that's why I always succeed, is because I have to, right? So I put myself in a situation where I've gone for it, and now I better make it work. And I do make it work. I always find a way because I have to. So that's the thing about entrepreneurship. Like go all in, make it so you have to, and then you'll get there because you have to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
So powerful, so powerful. So, and I'm glad that you made it work, because you wouldn't have these beautiful, amazing images that you create. And one thing that I absolutely love about what you're doing right now, which we'll get into the Rain Shoot tour, is that you have taken away to take something where, as you said, you created a job, because I follow Robert Kiyosaki, so I know about the cash flow quadrant and the difference between owning a business and owning a job. And you took it to where people see like photography is kind of just this in a little box, but you're taking it to a whole nother level with your sales funnel that you created, with your amazing sales video, with your tour. So I want to dive into that because I want people to see there's always possibilities to go to a whole new level.
Yeah, right. You can expand. So let me just start answering this by just talking about like the multiple genres of work I do, right? So first of all, I do the rain shoot. I do adventure photography. I do personal branding where I'm creating assets so that people know, like, and trust like the person they're listening to online. So it's, yeah, so I'm doing advertising photography. I'm doing just personal art photography. And then there's the whole like business side to it where I'm starting to teach what I do to other photographers as well. So I actually have a course that you can get to learn how to do the rain shoot. So that's an abundance mentality as well, because I'm gonna jump on my soapbox a little bit here, but like in the whole like info like education business, there's a lot of people that just do something. I mean, they just teach it, but they don't do it, and it just I really don't like that. And so I plan on still like doing rain shoots. I mean, we're kicking off a nationwide tour. I just opened this up to every city in the whole United States, you guys. So if you're wherever you are, you can sign up for the rain shoot.
Is imposter syndrome holding you back from taking your business or life to the next level? Is your upper limit preventing you from achieving the success you truly desire and deserve? Because you do deserve an abundant life. Go to Niajae.com/transcend to register for my exclusive masterclass, Transcend Your Upper Limits. Learn how to navigate through the hurdles on the way to the success, the happiness, and the fulfillment you desire. That's Niajae.com/transcend, Niajae.com. It's time to transcend your upper limit.
So before we dive deeper into the rain shoots, I want to ask you about confidence, because every photo that I've seen of yours, the person looks like super confident, but I know not everyone that comes to you is confident. So how do you how do you encourage people to be confident and just put their best foot forward?
So the way I deal with this is I just invoke being real. I don't know, like that. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I think it starts with like how I am interacting with the person, and I can tell if they're nervous. And so what I'll do is we'll just like have a conversation, and like I'll just like kind of like just get them to loosen up before we even like if I can tell they're nervous, like I don't put a camera in their face. Like that's the last thing that you want to do. So I'll just be real. I'll be like, hey, don't worry about anything. This is all gonna, I reassure them that everything is gonna look amazing, that they look amazing. And if someone's particularly, apprehensive in front of the lens, the whole time we're shooting, I'm just like letting them know how amazing they look, right? So it's like, and I'm just giving them like, I'm really, as you can see, I'm a very bubbly, energetic personality, and I'm just pouring it on just with the love, just like, dang, oh my gosh, like so amazing. And then what I'll do is I'll actually come and like give them visual feedback like during the shoot. So I'll go up and show them the back of the camera and be like, look at this. This is like amazing. And then, and if I'll wait till like there is one that's like awesome, like, cause sometimes like shots don't work, but like all the time we're getting like epic stuff in back of the camera. So I'll go back, I'll show them like, they'll go like, oh my gosh. And then it's just like, once they see it, like then they stop worrying, and then it gets even better. And then also I think music plays a big part in this. We bring, like, I always encourage my clients to bring music they love, because I'm all about music. Like it just adds to the creative process, makes it fun. And like, so they kind of get it when they have their music, especially like music that's personal to them that they really love. And so, yeah. And especially like with dance, I just let people, I just let them go. I just let them do improv. There's like 3 different ways I create a collection of images, but one of them is just letting them do their thing. And I say, forget I'm here. You're home alone. You're just jamming in the house, and I'm not even here. And I'll just like, maybe I'll just go out of the room and just let them do it, and then I'll like sneak back in. But just things like that to just kind of just get them loose and just get them having fun.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I address that.
Yeah, you look like you're super fun to work with. So the video that you have promoting the rain shoe, like you were singing.
Well, I was gonna tell you about Daniela. Can I tell you about my alter ego real quick?
You have an alter ego.
Like, yeah, oh yeah, me and her, we are a team. Yeah. So no, it's not a front. Like I have a wife and 2 kids, but when I started shooting dance, I started working with a lot of young girls that dance, right? Because that's like the dance world, like the dance moms, right? I love those people. And so I end up, sometimes I'll show people a move instead of like explain it with words. So I'm like, you know, and I start feeling like silly, right? And so, but then I blamed it on my alter ego, Daniela, because I'm Daniel, right? My alter ego is Daniela. So anyway, she comes out all the time when we work with young women. And so we have a great time. So I'm really fun to shoot with because I'm kind of crazy. And but yeah, it's just like things like that, like Daniela and stuff. And if they want to do like they're worried about like what to wear, I'm like, email Daniela. She's like a total fashionista, and then we'll like totally get it together, right? So.
Oh my God, I love it. So have you shot your wife? Like, is your wife like a dancer or artistic or anything?
No,
like that?
my wife is not a dancer, and she's gorgeous, which you'll see in this image here. But she hates, like loathes being in front of the lens.
Really?
So I don't photograph her that much, but yeah, I'm convincing her to like shoot more because she's gorgeous.
Yeah. What about your sons? Do they have any interest in photography?
They see what I'm doing and they like pictures. They like to see themselves in the pictures, especially like videos. Mm-hmm. My camera does really great slow motion, so I'll have them do stuff, and then they'll be, let me see. So I try to like document like each year. I try to do like a couple photo shoots. So I should give you some of these, but like I just thought every boy needs a picture of them climbing trees. So I did this little tree climbing shoot with them, and yeah. It's hard for me sometimes to like do things like low production because I'm all about like lights and sets, and I'm not like there's a lot of people that are like quote unquote ambient shooters, and like I love ambient light and I love to do that, but I love to be able to do anything because there's some things you can't do with just ambient light. And so anyway, so I try to like break out of that mold because I feel like I probably don't photograph my kids as much as I should because I'm like, oh, I don't have lights or blah, blah, blah. But I like the tree shoot, we didn't use a single light and it was fantastic. So anyway, I'm trying to shoot more for my kids. Yeah. But I'm going to do an underwater shoot with my kids because they're swimming and like they do the coolest things, little flips and stuff. And they're just like little fish, right? So I'm going to do a cool little underwater shoot of those guys this summer. Mm-hmm.
Fun. And the shot in the middle is an underwater shoot.
Yes, this one right here is underwater. Yeah, it's a composite because the clouds obviously weren't underwater. But shout out, guys, to Kayla Kalish. Okay, we'll put her name on the screen. She is an amazing model and athlete, like aerialist, dancer, like does amazing like costuming all herself. Like she is like one of the greatest people to work with, and she's in Las Vegas. So follow her at Kayla Kalish. Well, I don't know. I think it's at Kit Kat, but we'll put it up.
We'll figure it out. All right, so let's dive into this rain shoot. I am so excited that you are taking it on tour. I have been asking him to come to Florida forever. I'm like, come to Florida, come to Florida, come to Florida. And he is now coming to Florida, but not just Florida. You have a whole list of places that you are going. So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So I kind of like had this epiphany, like we don't need to put out a date and then like try to get the bookings enough for me to come across the country like before that date. Let's just like switch it and just say everybody can have a rain shoot and start taking bookings in every city, and we'll just set a date once we have the bookings. And this way it takes all the pressure off. It allows me to be able to offer it to every city. And so like I'm totally stoked because now we're going to go across the country, and I have a Sprinter van. It's kind of like a thing. I got mine in 2012, and like there's so many people like getting vans and like living in them because they're like they're like little tiny homes, right? So I've got like this epic mobile studio, and like we could totally like bring everything, all the gear, and we can use that as a showroom after to like sit down and show you your images. So it's gonna be fun. Like I can't wait. I think California is on the roll, and the Tampa area is on the roll. We got started in Nashville, started in, well, we're doing one in Phoenix, hopefully at the end of June. And so, yeah, it's starting to happen. So it's going to be exciting. Yeah. What else? So bring me back where you were taking me. I probably wandered off.
No, it's perfect. So who all does these rain shoots? So we already said aerialists, we said dancers, but you have photos of couples, you have photos of just kids just playing kind of in the water. So I don't want to exclude anyone. Is there anyone else? Because someone may say, oh, I want to do this, but I'm not a dancer. What would you say to that?
I would say everything looks fun in the rain. Played in the rain, ever gone a romantic walk in the rain? The rain is just like part of life. It's organic, right? So it just looks beautiful. And also, I don't really swear, but it's like, so I'll just say it's like bad A. Anything looks bad A in the rain.
You can say it. You can say it.
No, I don't. Personally, it's the thing with me. I don't like to. No, I'm like a straight arrow. I'm a crazy straight arrow. Yeah.
But doing anything in the rain is epic.
Yeah, like weightlifting. I don't know if I'll send it to you. I've got this picture of this girl like doing clean and jerk, and she's like, ah! And it's like awesome. So like fitness looks totally epic. Even like I had a guy do a shoot for his entrepreneurship, like adversity, like anything really, like the concepts, musicians. Like, oh, I'm so excited. I am most likely going to be going up to Bend, Oregon for Sony. Sony has an annual convention called Kondo. It's a Japanese word for like enlightenment and like creativity. And it's like Kando. And this year is Kondo 3.0. And it's in Bend, Oregon. I'm going to bring the rain shoot up there. And we're going to be in an airplane hangar. And I'm going to shoot a rock band like in the rain. It's going to be dope. Yeah, it's going to like drums, like water flying off, like guitarists like whipping their hair. It's going to be the bomb. Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
So I'm excited. So rock band, hey, any rock bands out there, think about an epic album cover. Hello, like, so, or just like content that's like gonna grab people's attention, right? So you don't need to use your instruments. You know, you just invest in some junkers from Craigslist, and we can get them wet, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even like maternity is really beautiful. I mean, anything really. If you want to have a family portrait. I don't really do that many family portraits anymore, but like if you want something that's like totally different than like anything out there, like that's totally different and it's awesome. So, yeah.
So exciting. So I will definitely put the link for the rain shoot in the description. So if you are interested in finding out more information, definitely click. You can find the nearest city to you. And if you have, for example, I have a lot of studio owners that follow me from when I had my studio. If you have a studio and it's not on the list, you have enough people that can basically hit that quota, you can also reach out to him so he can come to your specific city. So
yeah, but don't it doesn't have to be just in your immediate like sphere of influence. Like if you really want me to come, let's just open up that city that's not necessarily on the list, and we'll fill in the gaps with your people with like local dance studios and anything like that. And you can even just reach out to them. Hey, I'm a local person in the community. We want to do this. I'm sure you guys will love this. Check this out. You know, so between like the aerial studios and the whatever dance is there. I mean, there's always dance studios and girls dancing and moms that want to have amazing images for their girls. Like it's not that hard. Yeah. So like, don't limit it to if you have enough people. Like if you want your city, just let me know and we'll open it up.
I'm excited. So
your purple hair is going to look rad too.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So excited. So
yeah,
we have to make
we're going to make like purple smoke with your purple hair.
Oh my God, don't get me.
It'll be like purple. It'll be purple rain. Oh yeah.
Now that's epic. That is epic.
Yeah.
We have to make this happen. I already have some friends that have signed up, so we're gonna make this happen really soon. Okay, before you go, what are 3 tips for living an abundant life?
Okay, 3 tips for living an abundant life. Don't not go for things because you're afraid. Just know that if you go for it, it will work out and there's always a way. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2, I probably should have thought about this more, but I'm going to do impromptu because I'm sure it'll come to me. So tip number 1. So that was it. Tip number 2 is try to remember we all have goals. We all have things we're trying to accomplish, and it gets easy to, we don't do this intentionally, but we sometimes look at people as objects. Like, I need this person to do this so I can get this thing done, or I need this person to do, like, so try to remember like that, like everybody is a person, right? And that will allow you to be more generous, and you'll realize, and you'll tune into other people a little bit more, and you'll realize that you'll always get what you need. So I'm trying to tie that back to the abundance, but I think that goes with the abundance. Tip number 3 is I would find a way to structure and make institutionalized in your life giving back, whether it's your time, whether it's monetarily, to give back. In my church, we give 10% of everything that we get back to the church to take care of the poor, to like run the programs. That's like, we call that tithing, right? It's like 1 in 10. So it's 10%, but that's something I've been doing my whole life. And I'm always blessed. We always have food to eat. And I feel like giving, like, you get back like more. Like the scriptures say, you'll have a blessing so much that there's not room to receive it. And if that's not abundance, I don't know what is. Having not room to receive it would be abundance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Tips.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on. So tell people,
it's been awesome.
Yeah, tell people where they can find you online. I'll have it in the show notes, but if anyone is listening, what is the best place to find you online?
Well, I would say let's just stick with Instagram right now so people can get that link to see the rain shoot. And then you can see a lot of my work there as well. So it's at Daniel Woods Visuals on Instagram, at Daniel Woods Visuals. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So I will definitely have that in the show notes. If you are listening on iTunes or Spotify, I encourage you to go to YouTube, go to Facebook, and watch the video so you can see his beautiful images, not only the ones that are behind him right now, but we are going to put in all of the awesome things that he mentioned in the video. So definitely check that out if you were just listening. Thank you again, Daniel, for coming on. And until next time, love and light.
All right, we'll see you later.
Thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. I would love to hear from you. Leave your comments and questions, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our yummy episodes. Every time you leave a 5-star rating or review, I do my happy dance.